A cup of 10-pin bowling, you can expect all the tension and excitement that occurs in that famous three-day sporting clash here in Barnsley. At the moment, early days, but Europe are 3 points to 1 ahead. This is how it's panned out so far. One singles game left, and then the dramatic captain's pick game. So it is Palerma versus O'Neill with the scores at 3-1. Let's head back to your commentators, Cass Edwards and Simon Golding.
Well, advantage so far to the Blues. Team Europe looking very good. But there could still be a change in that scoreline come the end of this evening. USA with a chance to level things up. But Bill O'Neill, the real deal, is going to have to find his best form early. He really did struggle at the start of last year's Weber Cup, but he finally settled down. But the 33-year-old from Pennsylvania needs to get some of that PBA brilliance working on this lane up against the two-hander from Finland, Osku Palermaa. Good start, good powerful start as well. That's more like the Bill O'Neill we've come to know over the years out in the States.
Yes, a very powerful shot here. Got a reaction in the back end, right in the 1-3 pocket, carries all 10. Suffered last year at the Weber Cup and only averaged 180 over his 7 singles games, so looking to make an amends this year.
Yeah, he was completely down in the dumps, and Chris Barnes, his captain, kind of got him through it all. Didn't quite work out for Team USA last year. Now this man, the two-hander, the comeback kid, Osku Palermaa, back in the European colours again, having captained the team for a while. That says a lot about this man's character, that when he was called upon for this year's team, he stepped up to the mark, Cass.
More rotation on that ball than probably any other bowler that I know of. Just horrendous amount of revolutions. And once it hits the pocket, it does an awful lot of damage.
It's an interesting choice for keeping the hand dry under the TV lights. The Japanese fan. And that is a horrible looking shot from Bill O'Neill, and it's incredible, isn't it, that you can go from that opening shot to that in the space of a few minutes.
Yeah, just gets too far outside to those outside boards, mixes nothing up. Leaves the 2 and the 10-pin split. You can tell by the look on his face. And no, it is makeable. But unfortunately, open frame in the second frame for the man from Pennsylvania.
Now, Palermo with this rather unusual style. A lot of players will tell you that they developed this because they started bowling so young. The balls were just too heavy for them, so they had to use two hands. Certainly this man and Jason Belmonte will tell you that. The 31-year-old Finn, former Team Europe captain though, has made this style really work for him. I guess the difference is how the fingers go into the ball, how they hold the ball, the two-handers. And there can be a bit of individuality there. The problem that Palermo has, though, is that he's just too powerful sometimes for the game.
Simon, you're quite right, yes. Too much power, just absolutely blasts it. A fraction high on the head pin, which is why the 4-pin stands, but sometimes he doesn't get the mix, or the correct mix. And leaves something rather awkward. Settles for the spare. Had a massive win in the World Bowling Open tournament in Japan earlier this year. And picked up a massive prize of, and I'm sure he won't mind me saying, $85,000 US, which is not bad for one tournament.
You can buy a lot of those fans for that money. And both men with a slightly hot and cold start. That's more like it. That's more like the original strike from O'Neill. He'll be looking to stay on that line if he can.
Well, as you said, what a contrast between frames 1 and 3 and frame 2. Great looking strike here, as it was in the first frame, but frame 2 had the open frame.
You can quite clearly see the 4 pins that the ball will contact on its way through. Then it's just about science from there. It's the physics of how the pins deflect into each other that removes the whole deck. And that's the problem that Palermo sometimes has. He scythes his way through the pins, but if he gets the angle right, he just cleans them out.
Yeah, it was a great looking shot from the back of the pin deck there as Osku's ball came through. Fantastic amount of rotation and power. Look at that, just rips back, comes off the oil and hits the dry part of the lane and just turns left.
Finland's demolition derby then on his way 280, 268. That's the potential maximums that these guys can get if they strike it off the card from here. But a ways to go yet. O'Neill working a strike. Can't turn it into a double, and again leaves himself a messy split. And there's a lot involved in making this shot.
Simon, that's more than messy. That is a 2-8-10 split, which is almost impossible for a right-hander to pick up. And Mike Bill has gone out there again. It's a bad shot. Nothing wrong with the ball being delivered. It's just gone out too far.
He's getting an absolute handful, isn't he, going out that wide? And it comes through, takes the 2 out, has to settle for his second open frame. And unbelievable contrast from O'Neill. Strikes and opens.
Already the game's starting to slip away.
So Palerma, incredibly powerful shot in frames 1 and 3. Just didn't quite get the angle right in frame 2, otherwise he would have been on a 4-bagger here, but as it is, working a strike, so looking for a double. The crowd liked it very early. And Osku Palermaa enjoying his return to the big Weber Cup stage.
Yeah, it looks as though he's had a haircut, especially for the tournament, but he knows he's got his man down. Bill O'Neill is struggling, and Osku's just keeping it there. He doesn't have to do an awful lot, just keep the ball in the lane, keep it in the pocket. It's O'Neill that's going to do the work.
Struggles it down, took the pace off it to try and make the pocket, and he's left himself another shocker. And TJ, the American captain, Tommy Jones, can't watch. He's left the arena.
Well, it's the 2 and the 10. He took the 8-pin out, but again, this is another split, and it's another open frame, and this game's gone, and Bill looks all at sea.
Yes, I'm afraid it is deja vu from 2014, and that is one messy scorecard. Goodness me. 3 open frames from the real deal. And Osku Palermaa, a long, long way out, has almost sealed the deal.
Well, Osku mustn't do anything silly. Don't start trying to rip the ball apart or rip the lane apart. Just keep it in the pocket and steady. No open frames.
Yeah, brilliant stuff, and the new haircut, which isn't far off a Mohican, is working. There's a few Mohicans in the crowd, actually, the European fans, going for the blue Mohicans this year. And this is a strike from Palermaa to turn a double into a turkey.
Yeah, it's one fantastic looking shot from Palermaa. 3 strikes in a row.
Ball change from Bill O'Neill.
Really couldn't be anything else, could it?
Oh dear. Oh, and then it works, and that's tough.
Well, now the thing is, that wasn't a good strike. Very light on the head pin. He was very fortunate to mix them up, hit them thin, make them spin, as somebody once said, and that's exactly what he's done. So fortunate strike, trying to get him back onto something reasonable, maybe.
So Palermaa working 3 strikes. Very difficult when you go this far ahead early doors just to try and rein yourself in, focus on 1 frame at a time. The 4-1 is a real possibility here for Team Europe in Weber Cup 16. And he's done it again. Look how wide that ball goes, but he knows he can avoid all the oil, and then he's got the revs to bring it back to the pocket.
Simon, you're spot on. That ball gets right out to the 3rd board from the right-hand gutter and just charges back with so much power. It really is great to watch.
Yeah, it almost looks like it accelerates through that back end. O'Neill, far more ponderous delivery, but works a double, so all he can do here is just sit and wait, keep hitting the strikes and see if Palermaa has a big miss.
Well, this is what I was trying to say. Palermaa doesn't have to do anything silly. He occasionally may get carried away, or has got carried away when he's in a striking mode. This could be a very good game if he doesn't have to strike off the sheet. But knowing him, he'll want the 280 game.
And he'll want to prove himself again on the Weber Cup stage. That 2012 early Bath result, I think, lived long in the memory for the Finn. And he just leaves the 7, but a nice run of strikes from him. Just needs to pick up the spare here, nice and calm.
Yeah, he's had a couple of wins this year as well, apart from the one in Japan. He won in Kuwait and Thailand. As all these guys go off on the Asian tour, they play over there. They play all year round on the 3 tours. It's an Asian tour, European tour, and of course the PBA tour in the States. So they're kept pretty busy. And they do rack up the air miles.
Oh, they do indeed, and that's exactly what the Americans will be doing on Monday, Cass, because they fly out of here from Barnsley straight away to another competition.
From what I understand, they're flying out very early Monday morning to land in Las Vegas Monday afternoon to bowl 6 games in a doubles and singles tournament, which they're scheduled to play in. But of course, they didn't want to give up the chance of coming to the Weber Cup, so yeah, they'll be travelling light but quickly.
Yes, that's the value of this event now to the pro players. Competing in the Weber Cup is a big, big thing. And I'm afraid for Bill O'Neill, the Weber Cup glory still remains a bit of an enigma for him. He has had success with Team USA in the past, but this is the 2nd year that he's had a poor start.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to function well here at the Weber, or as well as the others. I mean, you take him abroad, he's played in the Pan Am Games with Team USA, Tommy Jones and Chris Barnes, and they've won medals, he's won money, he's won tournaments abroad. Just can't get the real deal coming out of him here at the Weber. Well, I mean, that was just an outrageous shot, because Osku played a straight ball at that one. Didn't use the outside boards at all. Look at this. Almost straight, in the same place. Carries all 10.
As we come to the closing stages of this game, I guess we can start to think about the captain's pick for the final match of this evening. And I would say, Cass, that the 2 Scandinavians, Larsson and Palermo, have probably ruled themselves out of that. The opposition captain picking the player for the last game. I think Bill O'Neill is probably still in the frame.
Someone I would suggest that anybody that is the European captain would pick Bill O'Neill. He's having a bad game here, and to bounce him straight back out again for the captain's choice singles match, the last match of the session, almost seems an ideal thing.
Yeah, Dominic Barrett is the man that will make that call in terms of which American player he wants to see back out here again. They probably won't go with Parker Bowen, who, although he lost his singles in that first game of Weber Cup 16, first singles game against Larsson, he does like to bowl on a burnt lane, and that's exactly what that oil pattern will be come the end of this evening. So O'Neill, once again, cutting a rather dejected figure, and he's, well, I make that apart from the head pin, he's left just about everything so far in this game.
Perhaps someone should tell him. He actually moved way left on the approach there on that shot. Experimenting, there's nothing to lose. Just try to work out a line that maybe he can work on next time he's on the lane. It could be in about 5 minutes' time, unfortunately for him.
It'll be a brave man that does tell him. He's a big lad, he's built.
Yeah, he's going to be in the 170s, which really isn't a game that you want to bowl on television in front of 500 spectators.
So a tougher pick for Tommy Jones. Who do you think he's going to go with?
Oh gosh, I think he'll pick the England captain, Don Barrett.
No, that's not a bad call, Cass.
It's a shame to say that Don Barrett is the worst player on the side. That's not true, but just going on scores-wise, everybody else looks so strong, don't they?
Well, Osku Palermaa is a very reserved character. He's a quiet character who keeps himself to himself, and the crowd trying to fire him up here. I think someone's asked him to back the ball up. He's not going to try that just yet, but
I don't know if you've noticed, Simon, that's the 3rd different ball that he's used on this game.
Yep. It's experimentation all the way, but it's working.
Yeah, it looks great, doesn't it? Look at the rotation on that ball. It just absolutely rips the rack straight through the 1-3 into the 5-pin, and he knows how good his game is, and a lot of people do as well.
So the twin fin is going to bring another point home for Team Europe on his return to the Weber Cup. He's not the skipper this time around, but he's certainly playing a very, very strong role.
Another ball change. Again, right in the pocket. I mean, this man's quite amazing, really, when he's on form. What can he do now? It's a single-handed shot, is it? Or is it going to be a two-hander? No, it is a two-hander.
He's not playing. He's not going to play with the crowd, not just yet. Osku Palermaa knows there's a job to be done here. And there's a long way to go before that job is complete. Well, an interesting game for all sorts of reasons, but a game that Bill O'Neill would prefer to forget. He's just put himself in the shop window for the captain's pick with a horrible 170. Osku Palermaa, another two-handed piece of brilliance from him. 258 beats 170, but more importantly, it's another point on the board for Team Europe. They lead Team USA 4-1. The captain's pick to come after the break.